forget. I'm also just a girl.
It's your girl Need to Be Watching, and let's get into this new video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you feel what I'm feeling. And thanks for tuning in. Let's go. Hey y'all, real quick, I wanted to make this video. It actually was inspired from a conversation that I had with my cousin last night. So if she's watching this, you inspired this. Hey Netaboo. But anyways, we were talking and the conversation basically centered around our grandmother. And the thought came to my mind, do we really understand our mother's pain? Now, granted, I know this topic is triggering for a lot of women because you have a lot of women who have mother wounds, a lot of women who have unhealed mother wounds. So, we all know that all mothers are not created equal. So if it don't apply, let it fly. But this conversation mainly is about the mothers who, definitely did a great job in the end. But when you were in it, it didn't seem as such. And you didn't really realize it until you became a woman and you became a mother. And it was just like, dang, I really didn't understand my mother's pain. So during our conversation, we talked about our grandmother. And what I remember of my grandma, because I'm way younger than her, no shade, but I always remember my grandma being really quiet. She rarely said anything. And if she were to talk, it would be like a sound or like a gesture, like a That was about it. But she came from a time, my grandma was from the silent generation. So that her being from that generation was very befitting because she literally was silent when I was young. And I always remember candid moments with her. But when I heard my cousin's recollection of her, it was mind-blowing because it was like, wow, she definitely was a vocal woman. She was a fire, alive, because my grandma was a Leo. So she definitely had that fire. But by the time I got to know her, her fire was out. And listening to her recount her moments with her and how she was, it just made me think, do we really know our mother's pain? And a lot of times I feel like we see our mothers as, just them being mothers, but we don't really take the time to get to know them as women. Granted, not all women are given the privilege to get to even know their mothers because their mothers have either shut down, the fire has went out within them, and all you have now is just a person that is doing their duty. Again, for the mothers that did their duty. I'm not talking about the ones that was, we're not talking about them in this video. So put your blades down. We're not talking about dumb mothers because I already know. But it just made me think. So when we was talking about it and she started to give me, bits and pieces of who she was during the times I didn't get to know her, it just kind of reaffirmed how I felt when I first found out, who my mom was as a woman, not just as my mom, but as a woman. And it really made me kind of feel, I ain't gonna say bad, but it was just like, well, dang, I was really hard on her. Granted, I was young, I didn't know, but I was really hard on her when she really was just doing what she knew. And I feel like when you go down your family roster of the women in your family, and again, this is a woman-centered channel, so I'm mainly just talking about women, because again, I get people coming in here talking about what about men. I'm obviously a woman, so I'm talking about women. So anyway, it just made me think it was times where I really was looking at my mom a certain way, what is she doing, or why is she like this, or why she act like this, and what's she doing? It wasn't until I became older, not even when I became a mom, but when I became older and I was out on my own, certain things started clicking, oh, this what she meant, oh, this was okay, she, it's certain things start clicking, and I feel I'm blessed to be able to give her flowers while she's still living, but You have so many mothers that have worked down to the bone, and their children know the sacrifices they made, but because they don't know their mother, they don't know the woman that she was before she became their mother, they can't relate to her. They can't really bond with her or even be sympathetic to her. And honestly, a part of me will say I feel like that is a fault of mothers, because a lot of times mothers, they put this like, you can't help but to get in motion and get in action, but you do yourself a disservice, especially when you have daughters, when you don't share with your daughters your journey, when you don't share with your daughters like how life looked for you, because it's not necessarily making them sympathize with you, but it's just like, it makes them see you. It makes them see you outside of just being mom who's mad all the time. It's like, dang, my mom is mad because she is working hard, and all she asked me to do was do the dishes. Like, you don't think about that type of stuff until you get older and you get your own place, and you just like, let me clean up. Like, it'd be times where I'll think of something my mom said when I was younger, and it used to get on my nerve, and then it'd be like, you know what? She had a point. She was right. So, I'm not going to go too overboard in this video, but this is like basically the stuff I am going to be talking about on my channel. Just reflections that I have learned from women that I have been around. I have always found myself amongst women that love to share their stories, that love to invite me into their world, and it's necessary and it's needed, because a lot of times, like I said, you have women that walk in shame. A lot of women are so shameful of their lives and the lives they live, when in reality those things that you went through could help the next sister, whether she's related to you or not. It's not just you having a child and sharing these jewels. You could be helping that sister that's working at the restaurant, helping that young girl who's in your school, and you see her with her head down. Like, we can help each other with our stories, with the things that we went through, our experiences. And I am going to be talking about more of that. But when she spoke about my grandma, I'm just like, I always viewed my grandma as being silent until she gave me her story of how my grandma was and the life my grandma lived. And she came all the way from Sumter, South Carolina, married to the city. And just thinking about that, and during that time when crack came out, watching your children that you wanted so much for, and some of them falling, and some of them being dying because of drugs hitting. Like, it was some hard times that our people really went through, and we see the aftermath, we see the residue, which is this generation. And it's like, some things we definitely have power over. Not saying that you should necessarily forgive if that's not where you at. You don't have to do that. But when it comes to hearing our parents' story, it's then our choice to continue the cycle or to go another way, to do better or to just repeat. And that's what I want to touch on, I want to speak on, is breaking that generational repeat. A lot of us fall into the same toxic patterns, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Before you know it, you start yelling at your own kids the way your mom was yelling at you. And it's like, but now that you older, you understand that, dang, my mom was stressed. Now I know what that feels like. So once I get to that point, I'm like, you know what, let me take a deep breath, let me get something to drink, let me get a little snack. You know what, is what they doing really, is it really irritating me, or am I just stressed out about work? Am I stressed out about whatever, relationship, school, whatever? It's a whole bunch of things that we have control over, that we can work on within ourselves to be better. And while we are working on being better, we can ensure a better future for these children, because they do as we do. They don't do as we say, they do as we do. So thanks for tuning in to my little chit chat. There will be more. If you have any stories or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I would love to hear y'all thoughts. Share whatever stories you have that you learn about your mothers or grandmothers, and let's build. Have a nice day.